Denali, the Great One. Rising nearly 4 miles above the Alaska landscape, Denali stands watch over a wild and beautiful world. Here in the shadow beneath the tallest peak in North America, we sense the true definition of wilderness. A place where our gaze stretches to the horizon over a natural environment, perhaps never touched by man. This is Alaska's wild Denali. Winter. The heart of Alaska is suspended in time. In Alaska's Denali National Park, winter's long shadow remains for 7 icy months. To understand the nature of Denali, you must think winter. During the deep of winter, Denali experiences 20 hours of darkness and temperatures that plummet to 40, 50, even 60 below zero. The cold saps all moisture in the air, as if sprinkled with a frosty fairy dust. Falling ice crystals give this inhospitable world a magical appearance. But the moose are not tricked by appearances. Winter is a hard time, especially for an expecting mother. Between fall and spring, a healthy moose might lose 1/5 of its body weight. Willow ptarmigan are among the very few birds that can tough out the Denali winter. They've adapted to the northern climate in several ways. Ptarmigan are camouflaged. Their winter covering of all white feathers makes them almost invisible against an all-white world. Their white feathers are also completely hollow. Without pigments, the feathers are filled with air that helps as an extra insulator. Ptarmigan also grow extra feathers on their feet, both for insulation and to use like snowshoes. In late March, the land is still locked in winter. But with each passing day, there are signs of life just beginning to stir beneath the sun that shines with the promise of spring.
Up. Let's go. Let's go.
With the longer hours of April sunlight, Denali musher John Nierenberg takes his dog team out for a jaunt.
This is probably one of the best places to have dogs. You can go in all different directions. You have basically millions of acres almost to yourself most of the winter. Come on, let's go. Let's go. We usually have caribou in this area. There's always moose, although that's sort of a danger with the dogs. You want to avoid them if possible. Around April, right around now, is when you go out, you start seeing your first bear footprints. You tend to want to avoid them too. Lots of ptarmigan, and the first of the birds start coming back now. And overall, just really good wildlife. Let's go. Let's go.
Spring in Denali is a celebration of new beginnings. For the spruce grouse, it's the time for courtship. As the warmer days of May and June melt away the evidence of winter, the hillsides of Denali Park become a patched quilt. A snowbank in Sable Pass is a perfect playground for triplet grizzly cubs. These playful spring cubs were born in January. Now 5 months old, they romp and explore their new world under the watchful care of their mother. All over the tundra, forests, and alpine slopes of Denali National Park, there's a rebirth, a renewal that comes with spring. As caribou shed their winter coats, they look like prize fighters who have gone the distance. Caribou are the only members of the deer family where both the male and female caribou grow antlers. Like the caribou, this bull moose is budding new velvety antlers. Before summer's end, they will stretch 6 feet across. Spring in Denali Park is also a time of newborn moose calves. This mother has twins to care for and protect from grizzlies and wolves. This calf, just weeks old, has been separated from its mother. Without a mother to watch over and care for him, there is little hope for survival. In some parts of Denali Park, the grizzlies are so effective at hunting young moose that only 2 out of 10 newborns survive. Throughout the spring and summer, the bears of Denali Park are on a constant search for food. Out of necessity, the grizzlies' diet is mainly vegetarian. They've learned that chasing a healthy caribou or other large prey is usually a waste of energy. During the next 4 months, this grizzly must eat enough to nourish himself during winter's long hibernation. It's a constant effort. The grasses and other vegetation don't offer a high percentage of nutrition, so the grizzly must forage almost non-stop. If it isn't on the tundra, a meal might be just underneath. The root of the pea vine seems hardly an appetizer for a predator with a ferocious reputation. But this grizzly will spend many summer days searching out these starch-rich morsels. The Arctic ground squirrel is wary of the grizzly, and for good reason. Ground squirrels, abundant throughout much of Denali Park, are an important part of the diet for many Denali predators. They make up 90% of the diet of golden eagles, half of the diet of red fox, they're also hunted by wolves and grizzlies. This grizzly, capable of short bursts of speed as fast as a racehorse, can easily catch a squirrel caught out of the burrow. Even within their maze of tunnels, ground squirrels are not always safe. The ground is laid open where the squirrels once had their home. Doll sheep, like to stick to the higher elevations to avoid predators below. They are expert climbers, and on the steep slopes or on rocky prominences can easily escape a wolf or grizzly. With the change of seasons, they now have before them a rich smorgasbord. It's time to feast after winter's famine. Now that winter's over, they're shedding their heavy coats, favoring a shorter crop for summer. Looking into the eyes of this young ram, you can appreciate the reason this national park was created. In the early 1900s, thousands of sheep were hunted for their meat. The national park was created in 1917 to protect them, so that future generations would enjoy scenes like this. For most of the year, adult male and female Dall sheep stay in their own separate groups. Ewes with their lambs form large nursery groups seen high on the hillsides. This is the equivalent of Dall sheep daycare. These older gentlemen are content to spend a hot afternoon grazing on grasses and sedges, or perhaps taking a nap. The horns of sheep are an indicator of age and dominance. Unlike caribou and moose, which shed their antlers every year, sheep keep their horns. The status of a ram is based on the size and curl of his horns. You can tell the approximate age of a ram by looking at the growth rings in the horn. Made of the same material as human fingernails, the horns grow in seasonal spurts, forming a dark ring where the New Year's growth begins. Judging by his horns, this ram is at least 7 years old. For most of their lives, Dall sheep live in their own world, high on the hillsides, among the eagles and the clouds. As the sun rises on a new day in Denali, the air thickens with the voices of songbirds. It is like an orchestra tuning its instruments. The call of the willow ptarmigan is unmistakable. From atop its lofty perch, this male ptarmigan calls to announce his territory and attract a mate. The object of his affection appears more interested in tender willow leaves than tender romance. The Arctic warbler migrates to Denali from Southeast Asia. At least 159 bird species have been recorded in this area. Most, like these trumpeter swans, are here only during the short breeding season. In Denali, birds are not the only migrants to arrive in spring. Denali National Park is one of Alaska's premier visitor destinations. Travelers from around the globe come for the opportunity to experience nature in this unique subarctic wilderness.
Beautiful. That's a nice set of horns.
These, too, are the sights and sounds of a Denali summer day.
Your first river crossing.
Thank you.
How much does this bear weigh? I will say this much. The closer you get to that bear, the bigger it will get. I was also asked the question up front, is this a male or a female? You have to get very, very close to a grizzly to distinguish males from females, much closer than I anticipated.
The Park Visitor Center is the Grand Central Station of Denali. It's the place to make camping reservations, reserve space on the shuttle bus, and pick up a BRFC, a bear-resistant food container. To avoid potential conflict with bears, all backcountry campers are required to store their food in these bear-proof picnic baskets. A 90-mile-long, mostly unpaved road is the only road access into the national park. During the summer months, private vehicles are allowed on the first 14 miles. But beyond that, special permits are necessary. So for most people, the first step to see Denali Park is aboard a bus. The road travels through spectacular terrain, following routes which once were only thoroughfares for wildlife. Because the animals still live and travel along the same road corridor, and because they are not hunted, it affords the Denali visitor a unique chance to see the park's famous residents. At Polychrome Pass, the park road narrows as it winds past layers of colorful volcanic rock, deposited here perhaps 60 million years ago. Close to 2,000 feet below Polychrome Pass, meltwater from several glaciers braids through the plains of Muir. Travelers hoping to see Mount Denali may get their best shot from Stony Hill Overlook, just 36 miles from the mountain. Denali is the traditional Athabascan name for Mount McKinley. Whether called McKinley or Denali, the mountain is always awe-inspiring.
See, the clouds are starting to come on over it now.
That's impressive. I would say that's impressive. It's beautiful.
What's one, Mary Lou?
These visitors are lucky. On average, the mountain is only visible 35% of the time. The view from the Eielson Visitor Center, just 33 miles from the mountain, is equally spectacular. Eielson is a 4-hour ride from the park entrance. It has become a rest stop for more than just two-legged tourists. These caribou would rather be around people than around the biting bugs elsewhere on the tundra. Caribou also seek out lingering patches of snow to escape the insects. The eaves at the visitor center are summer condos for cliff swallows. They plaster their gourd-like mud homes one on top of another. After the young are hatched and leave the nest, these swallows journey to South America, where they spend the winter.
Did anybody come here to see a particular animal and you thought, if I don't see it, I'm going to be really upset? What animal?
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. Did you see grizzlies today? Yeah. Good, good.
Every day during the summer, park rangers like Sue Goodglick lead discovery hikes.
I think is what the animals leave behind, and that's what we're going to spend about an hour and a half today, looking at things animals can leave behind, and tracks or their prints is definitely one of them.
Today she's taking a group up the Toklat River Valley.
Anybody see anything right there?
Oh, it's a caribou.
Mm-hmm. Caribou, right. You can see the kind of a horseshoe shape, curved. We'll probably see some better ones of caribou. And that movie I was talking about, how you play in your head, we've a couple things that have happened here that I've never seen, but some of the other co-workers have seen a wolf chasing a caribou here in the Toklat.
Bringing out 5 of these Alaskan huskies, hooking them up to this sled.
Another popular Denali Park interpretive program is the sled dog demonstration. During the winter, these huskies pull rangers on backcountry patrols. It's a tradition dating back to the 1920s. The huskies are always excited to run, even on a hot summer day. Today, Ranger Dan Greenblatt is on the runners. The huskies seem to love the attention from the daily visitors, and a good scratch when they can get it.
Oh, it just knocked me right over. Oh, you want this?
The Denali experience is as varied as the people who come here. Once here, time vanishes. There's nothing quite like this Denali experience. The music carries into the evening sky. Soon, the forest will be dark, but not silent. At midnight, Denali glows with the last golden rays of the setting sun. During this time of year, around summer solstice, the sun only sleeps 4 short hours. At 3 a.m., the Alaska Range is painted with the first colors of a new day. Brushed by the hand of God, the High One glows ever brighter with each passing minute. The land awakens to a new summer day. The beauty of Denali Park lies both in the grandeur of this landscape and in the tiny miracles of nature, like a spider spinning a web amongst the cotton grass. A field of wildflowers in July is another miracle of nature. These subarctic plants have adapted to survive the extreme cold of winter. Harsh, incessant winds, drought, a short growing season, and more. Some cling to life just a few inches above the permafrost, a miniature world of delicate flowers with blossoms the size of a pea. Frigid shooting stars, pink plumes, harebells, wild geraniums, and more, dotting the landscape in all the colors of the rainbow. The crystal-clear waters of Little Stony Creek sing a pleasing song as they meander through Thoroughfare Pass. The brook is just a tiny part of the Denali ecosystem, a wilderness stretching over an area the size of Massachusetts. But time spent observing nature at Little Stony reveals that many lives, large and small, cross paths here. The gray wolf, hunting along Thoroughfare Pass, must cross over Little Stony Creek on the way to its den. The grayling lives within the creek. To survive the winter, it must find a pocket of water deep enough so that it doesn't freeze solid. The vegetation near the creek bank is nourished by the waters, and in turn provides nourishment. This shorebird, a semi-palmated plover, breeds on the tundra, but winters as far away as the Florida Panhandle. For the summer, it searches for food at Little Stony. A pair of leased sandpipers has also taken up summer residence here. They are the world's smallest shorebird, with bodies barely larger than a golf ball. The sandpipers probe the soft mud, detecting with their beaks prey too small for human eyes to see. From the smallest of animals to the largest, Little Stony offers a bit of what all need to survive life in the Denali wilderness. Water to drink, shelter, a trail through the wilderness. Today, this grizzly is just passing by. He sniffs the air, sensing who is present, listening for the telltale call of the squirrel. But finding nothing to divert his attention, he moves on, following the course of this meandering spring of life. At midsummer, the tundra beneath Denali spreads like a lush green carpet. But the mountain never loses its white veil. Crowning the vast Alaska range, Denali reaches to 20,320 feet. Above 6,000 feet, it is always winter. This is a world beyond sight of the summer tundra, a world that lures adventuresome climbers and skiers looking to challenge the highest slopes in North America. Denali and the peaks around it are so tall, they shape the weather, which is served from a short but from day to day unpredictable menu. At midsummer, daytime temperatures may rise into the 80s and even the 90s. As the sun warms the tundra, it's like a bugler sounding reveille for countless hordes of mosquitoes. All summer long, mosquitoes, warble flies, and nostril flies have especially tormented the caribou. Mosquitoes alone might suck up to a quart of blood per week. The caribou shake and scratch, but to no avail. Only the colder fall days will bring relief from the itches of summer. The Denali wilderness is darkened by water-soaked clouds. The smell of rain is in the air. In Denali, it rains half the days of summer, but the total precipitation for the year is still only 15 inches. This summer storm quickly passes, and a promise of drier days colors the air. Lightning-sparked wildfires are common in interior Alaska. Smoke from a fire beyond the park's boundaries drifts into the Toklat River Valley. Within minutes, the air is thick with smoke that even the sun has difficulty penetrating. The moose family does not appear to be bothered by the new conditions. For the gangly-legged calves, it's playtime. Mom is more interested in the tender aquatic vegetation in Wonder Lake than in a game of tag. The taiga forest, which dominates the landscape at the eastern boundary of Denali National Park, is moose country. Taiga is a Russian word meaning land of little sticks. These sticks are mostly slow-growing white and black spruce, which have adapted to the thin soils, permafrost, and short growing season. The bull moose wanders the taiga with only 2 items on the agenda: eating and resting. Soon this bull will shed the soft velvety skin which surrounds his antlers, unveiling impressive weapons. If needed, he'll use his antlers to battle rival bulls for the right to mate in the fall. The antlers are dropped after the rutting season, having served their purpose. The vivid pink flowers of the fireweed are a sign that Denali's brief summer is at its peak. It's said that when the fireweed blossoms open all the way to the top of the stem, summer will soon be over. The day comes to a close with a sunset as brilliant as the fireweed blossom. By mid-August, the bull caribou are in their prime. With their thick brown and white coat and antlers that now stretch 4 feet, these animals are ready for the trials of courtship and the ensuing winter. The days of easy grazing will soon be over. Snow is creeping down the mountain tops, and the tundra is beginning to ignite with the colors of fall. Against this fall backdrop, the Denali grizzly bear family is on a picnic. Their tundra basket is filled with juicy, ripe, fat blueberries, rich in high-calorie sugars and ready for the picking by the millions. With winter just a few weeks away, there is urgency in Mom's foraging. Not only must she add extra fat to fuel her winter sleep, she must also teach her triplets about this important tundra food. In Denali, berries and bears go together. When they reach adulthood, a single grizzly might eat up to 200,000 berries in one day. With their tummies full of blueberries, these siblings take a breather. But Mom is already scouting for the next berry patch. She sniffs the air, looks, and listens for potential threats. Due to her diligence, all three cubs have survived their first summer on the Denali tundra. In between their berry breakfast and berry lunch, the family enjoys a grass snack. The home range of this family includes the Sable Pass area of Denali National Park. Except for the park road which runs through it, Sable Pass is closed to human entry. The wildlife using this habitat are free to conduct their lives without human disturbance, but in full view of delighted visitors. This is one reason Denali Park is so special. It's a place where wolves and grizzlies freely roam, and where we are able to watch, learn, and enjoy their behavior. 13 wolf packs use the Denali ecosystem within their range. As part of ongoing research, this female wolf wears a radio tracking collar. Among other things, the tracking collar tells researchers whether she goes beyond the park boundary to areas open for hunting. In Sable Pass, she stops at the entrance of a squirrel burrow and begins to tear at the tundra. For nearly 30 minutes, she works at the entrance. She pulls and scratches and is rewarded for her tenacity. It's the circle of life in the Denali wilderness. In early September, the first snow falls across the taiga and tundra of Denali National Park. One after another, the flakes gently reach the tundra carpet. It's time for the subarctic land to rest. Time for the moose calf to learn another lesson in survival. As the wet snow clings to the fireweed, a new season has begun in Alaska's wild Denali.